Hey ghouls and gals, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and today's video is going to be my November TBR. I've got some fun reading plans, some fun reading vlogs planned out as well. So let's go ahead and get talking about the books. The first order of business, as it were, is November is Native American Heritage Month in the United States. So I would like to read some horror by some indigenous authors. So I haven't exactly narrowed down my TBR for that yet. I mean, obviously, if you've watched my videos before, you know I love Stephen Graham Jones. He's one of my favorite authors. I would like to branch out even further and read more indigenous horror authors. So I will be making a vlog sometime this month dedicated to indigenous voices in horror. Pretty excited about that. I have some newer releases I'm kind of waiting to see if I can get access to this month. If not, we'll go a little bit more backlist. So definitely going to be reading some Native American, some indigenous voices this month. Another one of my reading plans is to start my reread of the His Dark Materials or the Golden Compass series by Philip Pullman. The Golden Compass or Northern Lights, depending on where you are, the title is different, is one of my favorite books, my favorite stories of all time. The very last book in this, well, this is a completed trilogy, but the very last book in this universe, this world, actually just came out. I want to read it, but I wanted to do a reread first. So while I would like to read The Rosefield, I believe that's the name of the newest one, I'm not going to do that until I've done a reread. So I would really like, especially for these first three, I think to do a little bit of an immersion read and listen to the audiobooks while reading the physical book. The first three books in the His Dark Materials series have a full cast audiobook, and then of course we have the Book of Dust series. Those audiobooks are not as great in my opinion. I mean, they're fine, they just have one narrator, but these audiobooks are just absolutely delightful and they just feel like such wintry reads, especially that first one, The Golden Compass or Northern Lights. And so I just feel like I wanted to get to the newest book in this universe a little bit sooner than I'm probably going to, but I didn't want to start my reread until the end of the year because this series is such a comforting series to me. Every single time I read it, since the first time I read it when I was a child, I get something new out of this series. So this is definitely going to be not just for November, but probably bleeding into December, maybe a little bit of January as well, rereading the His Dark Materials series. In November, I also want to keep up with the Buzzword Reading Challenge. This is a reading challenge created by Kayla over at Books and Lala. I have not figured out what books that I would like to read for the November Buzzword Challenge, but the prompts are read a book that has a cover with food or drink on it and read a book that has the title featuring the word never. So I'll have to figure that out at some point. I have some ideas. I think I'd like to maybe read some horror, but maybe dive into fantasy. There's just something about the weather getting cooler and the approach into winter that makes me crave an epic fantasy. So I'm feeling like I have to lean a little bit more fantastical for this Buzzword Reading Challenge, but nevertheless, we'll see when it actually gets to that vlog what books I pick up for that challenge. Another vlog that I am hoping to get out in November is the latest in my 101 horror books to read before you're murdered by Sadie Hartman series, and the vlog I'm currently working on for that, there is a pretty large number of books in it. So either end of November, I'll be reading all the books in November, but you might not see this until the very beginning of December. Not too sure, but the category is crime horror. So one of the books I will be reading for that installation of that vlog series is Good Neighbors by Sarah Langan. I haven't gotten to it yet, but the blurb on the title page says it's a modern day crucible beneath the surface of a suburban utopia. Madness lurks. So this is going to be one of the books that I'm reading. I'm also fitting a reread in for the first time in that vlog series because it's been a while since I've read a particular horror book, and I'm excited. I'm excited for the way it's going to turn out, and I'm intrigued to to read this book and the other books in that reading vlog. In the month of November, I think I would also like to prioritize some of the books I've gotten in my Aardvark book box subscription. When I started the subscription at the beginning of this year, I made myself a promise that I could purchase subscription boxes, but I had to stay at least a little bit on top of things, and I've done a pretty good job of that this year. I don't necessarily mind having books that I can choose from a personal TBR or from my personal library that I haven't read yet, so I'm not too far behind, but I would like just to read a couple more before this year is over. So I think I'm gonna have a vlog where I'm just reading my Aardvark book box subscription picks, and one of those books that I want to read is Salt Bones by Jennifer Given. The blurb for this one says, 3 women in one twisted family race for answers in this gripping retelling of Persephone and Demeter, set in the Mexicali borderlands. And this is actually an Indigenous author, so even though I'm reading it for my Aardvark reading vlog, definitely could fit in with that Native American or Indigenous horror vlog that I had planned, but this is just one of the picks that I would like to get to. I have not heard a lot about this one, but that's one thing I love about Aardvark, is that it has a pretty good mix of books that I am very excited for and that I've already been looking forward to, and then books that were not on my radar that I want to put on my radar because of how intriguing they sound. So Salt Bones and maybe 2 or 3 other Aardvark books I'll be reading for a vlog. I also think this month I would like to read some thrillers for a thriller vlog. I haven't read like a specifically thriller book in quite a while. I've read a lot of horror that maybe could be like a blend of horror thriller, or maybe sometimes they're genre tagged as thrillers, but they're more horror. I think I want to focus on thrillers for a vlog this month, and one of those books I would love to pick up is King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. I have not read an S.A. Cosby yet, and he is just really blowing up in the thriller atmosphere, the thriller reading space, so I want to get to one of his books. This is his latest. It's about a family in the South, and they run a funeral home, and one of the siblings in this family has to come home after a family member is, well, the family member dies, but it soon maybe turns out that the family member could have possibly been murdered, and there's just a lot of secrets and intrigue and thrillery things going on in this small town. So I'd like to read this one and 2 other thriller books. It's just been a minute since I've read some more traditional thrillers, so I thought that could be a good way to diversify my reading a little bit this month. And then last but not least, for my planned out reads, I am going to be reading The Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris. This is actually a reread for me. I read this book such a long time ago. I'm going to be reading it for a vlog that I'm not going to give away the exact purpose of yet, but I am going to be reading it for a classics adjacent sort of vlog. Going to be reading this book and 2 other books. I think I haven't exactly nailed down exactly what I'm doing in this vlog yet. That's why I'm being pretty vague here, but I know one of the books is going to be The Silence of the Lambs. This is a very classic movie, very classic book, and I really appreciate what it's done for the horror genre, especially in the movie sphere, with getting horror movies recognition at an Academy Award level. And I think I was in middle school when I read this one. I was either in middle school or really early high school, so I'm excited to go back to this one and read it with adult eyes, and I can't wait to revisit the story of Clarice Starling, who is an FBI agent, and she seeks out the help of a very enigmatic and mysterious killer to help her catch the killers in prison. And she's using the help of Hannibal Lecter to help her capture another serial killer that's on the loose. So those are some of my reading plans for November. Obviously, there are going to be a lot of mood reads in there, maybe some weekly reading vlogs. I'm not too sure, but definitely I'm feeling the vibes for November. I'm not getting rid of the horror on my TBR, but September and October was so pedal to the metal, pretty much entirely reading horror, giving out horror recommendations because it was spooky season. And even though I do love a good horror any time of year, I think I want to focus a little bit more on maybe some other genres, maybe some gothics that aren't necessarily horror, some thrillers, some fantasy, things like that. Just based on the books that I gave you here, I'm not reading horror, but just I think the vibes as we're moving into the winter is going to be a little bit more fantasy forward. So we'll have to see what else I end up reading this month, but that is going to be it for my TBR. TBR. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my content. Stay safe, stay spooky, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye!